Ed Sheeran. That redhead who somehow managed to go from busking on the streets to dominating the global music scene. Everyone's out there talking about his collabs with Beyonce, his chart-topping numbers, and flirty friendship with Taylor Swift. But what about the real star behind the scenes? That's right, I'm talking about Suffolk. Yep, that sleepy county on the east coast of England. I mean, it's not exactly known for pumping out megastars, but for young Eddie, it was the perfect breeding ground for his talent. So let's talk about how Suffolk turned a ginger kid with a guitar into the musical powerhouse we can't escape today. Before Ed was packing out stadiums and hanging with megastars, he was just a kid growing up in Framlingham, a tiny market town smack bang in the middle of nowhere. I'm talking the kind of place where there are more tractors than taxis. And your biggest Friday night out involves a pint down the local pub. While other kids were out there in the big cities partying hard, Ed was wandering the Suffolk countryside, plucking away on his guitar and dreaming up songs that could make him a household name. He went to Thomas Mills High School, where he was that kid who always had a guitar in hand and probably played at every school talent show. He had a close-knit group of friends who were the kind of down-to-earth people you find in places like Framlingham. So while the rest of us were trying to act cool in high school, Ed was out there honing his craft, writing songs, and getting his mates to listen to him croon about love, heartbreak, and no doubt, a lot of unrequited crushes. But let's not forget one of his biggest influences. No, not Chris Martin, Sherry Seaborn. Yep, his now wife and high school sweetheart, who also hails from Suffolk. They first met as teenagers and reconnected after Sherry had become a professional hockey player. The song Perfect is basically his way of saying, hey, remember when we were just two freckly kids trying to figure things out? It's a love song straight from the heart of Framlingham to the world, with the charm of two people who've known each other a long time. Here's the thing about Suffolk. It's quiet. Like, really quiet. Chill enough to make even the most stressed out city dweller breathe a little easier. And that's where young Ed found his creative zone. When he started writing Castle on the Hill, he wasn't just reminiscing about his childhood, he was straight up taking us on a tour of Suffolk. He name-checks places like Framlingham Castle. And the lyrics paint this picture of late nights, car rides and growing up with the same crew. It's nostalgia, pure and simple, the kind that makes you want to go back to your hometown and remember what it felt like to be 16 again. And where did he write some of his biggest hits? Suffolk, of course. Forget renting a fancy LA studio, Ed was more into chilling at home and casually cranking out tracks like Shape of You, in the same room where he wrote songs as a teenager. Ed's time at Thomas Mills High School was where he got his first taste of performing, and it's where he learned to be the guy who could charm a room full of people with just a guitar and a smile. While other kids were busy trying to be the next big thing on MySpace, remember that, young Eddie was hammering out songs in his bedroom, trying to make them sound just right. And yeah, that drive probably had something to do with Suffolk, where the distractions are few and the motivation has to come from within. Suffolk is the secret ingredient to Ed's sound. Without it, he might have just been another kid trying to make it in the big city. But growing up in a place that was low-key, laid back, and miles from anything meant he had the freedom to develop his sound without any pressure to fit into a scene. He didn't need to be cooler than he was, he just needed to be himself. And let's be honest, part of Ed's appeal is that he feels like a mate. He doesn't come off like a superstar. He comes off like the dude down the street who stumbled into fame. And that's pure Suffolk right there. So next time you're blasting Perfect, or drunkenly singing Castle on the Hill with your mates at 2 AM, Remember, it all started in a quiet little town where no one ever thought a global superstar could come from. Suffolk might not be glitzy, but it's got soul, and it's got this unpretentious charm that Ed takes with him all around the world. And maybe, just maybe, the reason Ed's music feels so real is because he never lost that connection to his roots. Suffolk is still there, quietly shaping his songs, reminding him of where he came from. So there you have it. Suffolk is the unsung hero of Ed Sheeran's music. Without those rolling hills, quiet nights, and the familiarity of a small town upbringing, we might never have gotten the laid-back, heartfelt songs that made Ed a star. It's not flashy, but it's real. So cheers to Suffolk for giving us Ed Sheeran.